down from 5.5 like probably a week ago,
Oh,
I think.
you're Divine 3, right?
Yeah. Divine 3, and I've been playing for 2 years now. Pretty sure,
Gotcha.
yeah, 2 years, I think. Yeah. What else? So I play mostly offlane, and if not offlane, then either roaming or position 5, like either 5-4-3 basically. But
Alright.
preferably I usually play on the offlane.
Yeah, my best
Uh,
roll is 4 and then
yeah.
5.
Yeah, I saw the Dota buff. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So we could like I want to get into the roaming role as well, because I think uh, what happens is that I used to play a lot of safe lane in the past, and then I played a lot of mid, and then I played a lot of offlane. So I think having knowledge of all these three lanes would, like, I think it's time to roam. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
because I know what people should be doing in all three lanes. I feel like I could probably start roaming, which is the role I like. I like to play heroes that are like playmakers, that are crowd control, all that. I don't like the I'm not a carry per se. I just like to make space, make plays all around. You know what I mean?
Alright, cool.
I
It
feel
sounds like we have about the same play style then.
yeah.
So this will be good. And because you're a closer MMR to me, I probably wouldn't be able to help you too much with like mid or carry, because those are like my weaker roles.
Yeah.
So if we're doing my strongest role, I'll have the most room like above you to help you.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
So we could start with position 4, and generally there's a lot of mistakes that people make that are just like throughout their gameplay, that we can talk about that will help everything.
Yeah.
So we should go over, unless you have a specific one. I like to go over losses instead of wins, because it's usually you didn't play too much worse. It's just the mistakes that you made were punished as opposed to unpunished.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at.
Just a question: are you streaming on Twitch?
I think so. Yeah, I should be.
I mean, maybe I just give the link to the friend who wanted to.
Oh yeah, that works. Let me get it real quick. Yeah.
That'd be nice, please.
There you go. So yeah, I'm looking at this Clockwerk replay. It's unranked though, so I don't know if this is like.
Let me just check it one second.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen on Skype.
Yeah.
I forgot to do that. So I don't know if this one.
Is it the 47 game?
What was that?
47 minutes 47 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a low prior game with a friend of mine.
Okay.
Get him out of it, but it was I feel like I mean. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll watch this.
Here, let's try this one. Year 1. The reason that I'm going to him first is because I'm playing the shit out of him right now, and because the meta is the support usually has to pick first. It's if you don't first pick the position 4, the other guy that's supposed to support will, and then you're stuck with position 5. And I like Clockwerk for that role because it's kind of like my favorite hero, or my most played hero, is Pudge by a long shot. But the problem with Pudge is if they have a AM Quap and then an offlane like Pangolier, you can't fucking do anything. And if you don't have a good early game, you just don't do anything for the rest of the game. But I think heroes like Night Stalker and Clockwerk are fine to first pick, and there's never a time where having the 8-second silence and mischance is bad. But like, if they have all of these escapes, and then they have like an Undying or whatever, and they have like a Clockwerk that has 3 different ways to stop your ult from like anywhere, Pudge can have a really hard game. So Clockwerk and Night Stalker are a good bit less counterable than the rest of the position 4s, I think.
What do you think of Spirit Breaker?
Spirit Breaker's kind of like if you don't, at least in my experience, I don't like him because I don't have too many games on him. I think I actually just played him. Yeah. If you don't have a good early game, you're just kind of useless at 35 minutes until you get like a BKB or something.
Yeah.
Especially with Hurricane Pike being so popular now, and that just stopping your charge.
Yeah.
Like all a hero really is charging and then ulting someone. And if they have an Orchid and you don't have a BKB, you just don't do anything. And if they have like a Hurricane Pike or any root or any stun or anything like that, this is useless. And then you're a position 4 that's gotten like no farm except for kills in the middle of the enemy team, usually in the back because you want to bash through a bunch of people. So I don't think he's kind of like Pudge where he needs a good early game to continue to be useful, but he's a lot more likely to get the good early game. But he's also like a good hook wins at 40 minutes is a lot more impactful than a good charge at 40 minutes usually.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he's kind of safe. Like I'd put him a little bit below the Clockwerk and the Night Stalker. Like I'd say you can pick these guys in like I first pick this guy all the time, and I'm never like too butthurt about what the enemy team picks.
You always run him, right? You never play him offlane?
Yeah, I always run him.
I have like 300 games on Clock, and I spam him a lot, but I usually play him in the offlane.
Yeah, I only play him as roaming. The thing is, you want to... He's kind of like... you remember when Bounty Hunter used to be an offlaner? I don't know if... Yeah. The reason that he's changed was people wised up, and they realized the Bounty Hunter's leaving at level 6. He's going to go try and get a kill. The same is with Clockwerk. If you go offlane and you go missing at level 6, it's pretty obvious what you're doing. You can't farm for shit, and you just got an amazing ganking ability. So it's kind of like, alright, mid and offlane, just be careful for the next 20-30 seconds, and he'll come back top, and you'll have done nothing but waste his time. So
maybe we could look at the roaming, just like very quickly, the last game.
Was this yours? Or did you roam this, I mean?
Let me see.
It looks like you did.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
So
we can do that.
we can go over this real quick. And then, are you interested in learning him well for roaming?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
honestly, the two heroes I want to learn are, I mean, I not to like brag or anything, but I feel like I know a lot about the mechanics of Clockwerk.
Yeah.
But what I need to know more is just like how to actually properly roam, you know? So it's not about the heroes themselves, but just like generally where to be, where to start and all that.
Yeah,
and
it's...
other than that, I like to learn the Earth Spirit. I think I have 200 games with them, but like maybe 70 wins or 60 wins. I'm terrible at
I'm kind of rusty with him, but like mechanically, so I wouldn't be able to be as helpful with Earth Spirit as I would with Clockwerk. So we can start with Clockwerk and then go from there. Where are you? I'm just gonna invite you, so whenever I go to your, when I need to find you, I can just drop down there. So this is the correct build. Yep. You go Tranquil's Urn, Force Staff. Yep.
There's no use of smoke. I don't feel like blade mid is that important on a roaming Clockwerk because you don't want to be inside the cog anyway. You just want to like hook in cog and just force stuff out.
What I'm looking at is the Spirit Vessel right now.
Was it too late?
I think it was like I would have.
It's only the LC, right?
The LC, the gyrocopter, and the Pudge. If you can't cancel his shit, because this guy has Mask of Madness, and then she probably also has it. So it's mainly for the LC.
But I mean, LC can heal anyone though. So.
Well, that heal also takes off your urn, so it's kind of like
Okay.
The time that you use Spirit Vessel is when she's
yeah.
dueling, so she can't heal from her passive.
Oh, okay.
Or else
or you Vessel after she heals.
Yeah.
After she uses the.
That too. My standard build when I don't have a compelling reason to get Spirit Vessel is Earn or Tranquils and then getting the other one depending on how the game's going. And then sometimes Wand also depending how the game is going. And then almost always Force Staff into Ags and then build from there. Because the Ags just like let you be active a lot more. By the time that you have the Ags, you kind of don't want to stay after your hook, right?
Yeah.
So what that allows you to do is hook, either punch your cogs and run out, or force off out, and then re-engage, like 6 seconds later after you've backed out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you don't have Ags, you're just kind of gonna be a Spirit Vessel. But if you do have Ags, you can hook over and over and over. So let's get into the replay.
Let's go.
Without further ado.
This was annoying. Like I wanted to use cogs for the SF, but everyone just left.
Oh yeah. Feels bad.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I like this as a backup. And recently I had a game where I knew I wasn't going to be able to do anything early, and we had an SF, so I went with this. But it shouldn't be your default where it's like, alright, I have an SF, I'm going cogs. You should think about, like, can you... Like, some games you can just fucking dick on everyone. And then it's kind of like, you'd much rather just start with your battery assault so you can be helpful. Because when you start with power cogs, all you're going to do is give this guy damage, and then sap your level 2 from wherever. And aside from that, you can, like, cogs in some creeps for a few waves to try and, like, make up that you're sapping your level 2. So I'm trying to see, I think this game it's fine. Yeah, I think this game's fine because a good cogs back into the Monkey King can mean a kill.
Yeah.
Or a good cogs within... Yeah, this fucking sucks. I would be so triggered from this.
We spammed the mic, like, come on, dude.
Yeah. So I don't mind the cogs this game, but try to don't get in the habit of just going, alright, we have an SF, I'm going to get cogs.
Yeah. Usually if I have cog on the roaming clock, I go up to the ruin cog and then get the bounty, but I was a bit late there.
So here, when you know that nobody's really contesting your Monkey King, like, about right now, you should know that nobody's going to be doing shit to your Monkey King, right? Because this guy would not be running away at 10 seconds if he should be contesting this bounty rune, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So from there, I would go back mid and block mid. Because blocking your mid and keeping it right here is going to help this guy so much. Whereas being top early when all you have is cogs, when you know that they're not going to contest you, it's not going to do nearly as much.
Wait, do you mean block mid with the cogs?
Yeah, you can, what you do is...
Though, right? I think that gets the creeps into tower range.
What you do is you try and body block here, and then when it reaches right out of tower range, you can cogs there. So
okay.
Yeah, it guarantees that you don't cogs it too much, because if you do cogs and block from like back here, and this guy just like doesn't, he like gets the bounty rune and doesn't block mid, then yeah, it's definitely gonna go under your tower, and that's bad. But yeah, just try and like make the outer ring of your cogs like right here, because the tower range is like right here.
Okay.
So that definitely would have helped your SF a lot. And it's kind of like, if we watch what you do, it's like, what else are you gonna do? Like, in this, all of this time, you're not accomplishing anything, but if you started mid, then like your SF has to last hit uphill against this guy. He does have more damage just because of the matchup, but it's still like, he would much rather be right here. And
No.
it's 30 seconds in and you still haven't done anything. You're using your quick buy, which is good. That's something that I see most of my students don't do. And it's something that I usually harp on for like 15 minutes. Here, this is kind of, remember, I was talking about how sometimes I make my sessions only 30 minutes because there's some like critical mistakes. Here you're kind of in a situation where like you can't do anything anywhere, kind of, because this isn't pulled back, and you also didn't pull this back, or you didn't block this at all, and you didn't block this at all, and you started with cogs. So not only are you not helpful in combat too much, but you also didn't use this in a way that made it so you could even fight. Like, if the creep wave is here, then the LC has to be right here, so that the range that you can harass her and run her down is all this range. But the creep wave is going to meet, I guess it meets, it's not too bad, actually.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The new patch thing.
Yeah. It's not too bad, but she can come, like, back here, which is a good bit safer than up here. And here, I would be, like, you're not gonna go mid, unless, like, if you are gonna go mid, you should go mid, but if you're not gonna go mid, you should be more bodying this guy. Like, what's the reason for being over here instead of right here?
Yeah.
If you're over here, it kind of like gives him extra room to run up to here, and then get in experience range and maybe like throw out a nuke and get a last hit or whatever. But if you're right here, you completely body him. The only thing that you have to watch out for is these guys when they come. You want to back off completely. And the best way to know where these guys are is just look where your creeps are. And then imagine it's basically mirrored. So like all of this, where you're just like hiding out over at the camps, is just, you're giving the LC space that she doesn't deserve. And what I usually like to do, if I start with cogs, and I don't have like a delicate mid that really needs it on their hill, I like to block the off lane. Because you can get 2 cogs there, and then it means the creep wave's like right here, and then it's kind of like, alright, well I did this huge favor for you, I'm gonna try and get my level 2 down here. Because that's worth it for most offlaners, right? To be able to get the early last hits and the guaranteed experience, as opposed to if it's like here, you can just like, especially against Shadow Shaman and Pudge, if Pudge gets on top of, I guess Enchantress is fine because she has her boots, but if the Shadow Shaman,
She died first blood though.
oh lol, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this guy, if Rot connects and then Shackles is basically guaranteed from there, she's pretty much as good as dead. So you doing this, even if she doesn't like it, it's like, it's the best play that you can make if you're not blocking mid. So that's, when you start cogs, that's 90% of the time I go either cogs off lane or cogs mid.
Okay. Everyone's running out of cogs, man. No one knows that you can. I don't know.
Yeah, that happens all the time in like all of my games. I looked it up and it's a 0.85 second knockback, which
yeah,
is
like just wait half a second and just walk out,
yeah.
get damage and don't get knocked back.
Why am I on this chick?
And you could also like, I don't do that much, but you could like hit the cog on the opposite side, and if he's just spam clicking to move, he has to go like the whole way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the best things to do. You have a lot of experience with Clockwerk, so I don't know if this is something that you know or not. But like against a Storm Spirit, you don't want to hook and cogs them in. You want to hook them and then walk and then cogs them backwards because it just prolongs.
And you can also do the cool trick where you could hook, walk, cog back, he gets pushed back, and then you force that back in, and he gets burned again.
I don't know if I would do that. I'd rather keep the Force Staff.
I mean, just want to have, like,
yeah, I mean, if the dude's like guaranteed dead, or you know nothing bad is gonna happen, it's fine. But usually it's better to hold your Force Staff, at least in my experience. And this is kind of like, I don't really want to go mid unless I know that the gank's gonna work pretty well. Which is, yeah, this is fine actually, because the creep wave is on your hill. Yeah, so if it's right here when you show up, it's fine. But if the creep wave's like here when you show up, against a ranged guy, it's not that great. So what you did was fine. He just kind of fixed it. And what I would do, he's doing the creep wave pretty well. So what I would do is wait for him to go for a last hit. This is kind of like, he has enough time to see you coming before the last hit is ready to be able to back up. But if you waited like 3/4 of a second, he'd either have been committed to the last hit or not. Whereas,
especially if he goes for the second one,
yeah,
the deeper one, like the other group.
Yeah, but right now he's like, he didn't have to commit yet to ensure the last hit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you waited like half second, this gank would have been a lot more likely to happen. And if this guy hits double raises, or even triple raises, because he has the thing on, he's basically dead.
Do I die here? I don't remember. Let's see. I go greedy. Oh no, I just pushed back from the pit.
And
this
here,
spamming, come. Like,
yeah,
you can't do anything to it. Just game for like half a second.
This is fine.
We can't do anything.
What I want to point out is you should be buying these two and putting it on the courier. Because it's like, you don't really want to use the courier just to get those two items. Or like you could. It'd be a lot less likely that you want to for just one of them. But if you throw it on right now and like your SF gets an item or whatever, instead of it going to you and back, it just goes to him, and then the only distance that you're like responsible for is this distance, because it had to go back anyways and it had to come out anyways. So it's just a little courier efficiency that right now the SF's using the courier, and you'd be getting your items in 30 seconds from now instead of whenever you get them, which is probably like 2 minutes from now. And here, I think you were a little bit too trigger happy with your cogs. Usually you can wait until he isolates himself so that none of your battery assaults end up on this range creep.
I tried to fix my mistake by hitting the creep here.
I got it. Well, that's even worse, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because your battery assault is only going to do so much damage to him. It's kind of like, if you just right-click the Shadow Shaman, you're going to do more damage.
Level 1, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no matter what, you're just going to do more damage if you right-click him. And this basically means that he's not going to get more than a few seconds of shackles, so you're not too worried about ensuring that every single battery assault hits the Shadow Shaman. And even if you had level 4 battery assault, I still would just be right clicking the Shadow Shaman.
Okay.
Because it's the same damage, like, regardless. If the range creep takes up 300 damage, then he takes up 300 damage. But, like, it could just have all of them hit the Shadow Shaman, and any right click you put on the range creep is just a waste of damage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The only thing that I would consider with battery assault when you aren't, when this guy isn't isolated, is rocket flaring the creep wave, because this will do damage to him and the other one. So if you have like this max and you have the rocket flare damage, that's 325 damage. And if that kills off a creep, then that's 325 damage that your battery assault isn't doing to one guy, and it is doing to your Shadow Shaman. And that's something that I have seen people not take advantage of. And I think there, if you didn't attack the range creep at all, I'm pretty sure you would have killed this guy.
Yeah, that's 2 hits, yeah.
Or at least, like, there's a 50-50 chance he dies, depending on how your battery assaults go.
Yeah.
I'd say it's more like 80-20, because you did a full range creep's worth of right clicks.
Yeah, he would have died. That's 2 hits on the Shaman, I think.
Yeah.
Besides the hit useless, yeah.
And also you would have,
The ant shouldn't be shackled then, they're good around.
well, what I want to point out is you would have had the courier, maybe, with your raindrop and your windlace. You would have got it, like, right about now, but eh. So it doesn't end up being too bad, and you get your Tranquils instead. This is really good to use stuff. Here I'd be going back in. Actually, he hasn't thrown his hook yet.
Yeah, he has hook,
Yeah, what you're doing is fine then. It's hard looking at replays, because I look at it just like what your hero's doing. I'm not like looking at the LC and the Monkey King like I would be in an actual game. Again, you could be throwing your raindrop on the courier. And at this point, you can't really kill the PA. Because she can just, unless you cogs perfectly and she fucks up horribly, she can just, yeah. So I wouldn't really be looking to go bottom. And like, what's a PA gonna do to your Enchantress? She should get a wand, and then every time she throws a dagger, it's just more mana to use Nature's Attendants, and then so her daggers kind of like even out to not do anything, and then she can't really right click the Enchantress too well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that lane is like 70% favored the Enchantress, 30% favored the PA. So it's like, what are you gonna really do there? You can make it like 80-20, but is that the most effective thing that you can be doing right now? Like, I would be trying to come in mid here is good, but like, I don't mind this at all, but I would be looking to at this point in the game, I'd be looking to try and get some kills with the Monkey King top on the LC.
That's yeah.
Yeah, because if you get a battery assault and cog somebody, with the Monkey King in there especially, they're basically as good as dead. And here's another thing. When you're going for the urn, I really like getting the recipe and flying it out with other parts, and not getting the ring of protection, because you can get those at the side shop. and you'll often be there. So it's just kind of like with old Battle Fury when AM used to get the broadsword.
The broadsword,
yeah. Yeah, instead of the Claymore. It just lets you get it sooner, and then it's kind of like.
No, you mean the other way around.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You would get the Claymore first, and then yeah. I thought this one was called the broadsword because they're basically the same fucking item. But yeah, and then it's kind of like maybe a fight happens and you pick up your urn right here and you kill one guy and then earn the other and he dies, or you kill one guy and earn your teammate and he runs around while the second guy chases him, or whatever it is. But it's just kind of like I've had that happen 5 or 10% of my games, and that's enough to like change your win rate by a good like 20 or 0.2 or whatever, and all that small shit adds up.
Yeah.
Here you're playing Very Afraid of Her, and I don't think you need to be.
I was just daunting her, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. I'd be running at her, because if you get her, your Monkey King can come over, and your Rubik lifts into cogs.
There's no way I catch her, though, right? Like.
Yeah, if unless she tries to fight you. Which, like, sometimes they just do, and they just die. It's like a zero risk, high reward play.
Yeah.
And like at this point, if you bought the recipe, you would be getting your Ring of Protection from the side shop soon if you didn't get the smoke.
Yep.
And here, the only way that you actually catch this guy, with the knowledge that you have, is if you run this way and he runs that way. Because you know he's not going to be right here. Because he's not going to just run out of vision and then stop moving. So if you ran this direction, you might have caught him. And I think you would have.
I don't think I wanted to catch him there, though.
Well, if you catch him, he dies. That's like one hit, and you battery assault him, get one hit from the Shadow Fiend, and you like right click him once, and he's for sure dead. Like you might die in the process, but you also might not, because his ult's gonna be stopped a good bit of it from the infused raindrop. And then it's kind of like you went for it later when he's healing up, and you go super deep for it. And I would have, I don't...
Clockwerk,
yeah.
I just saw that.
Okay.
He has the battles.
And every 10 minutes, like you should, at like 8 or 9 minutes is usually when I start thinking about the Tome of Knowledge. And my goal with that is to... unless something compelling pops up, what I'm going to try and do is get enough experience so that the tome will get me my level 6. So you look at that at around 7, 8, 9 minutes, and then you're like, alright, well, I need this tome to get my level 6, so I'm going to pick it up. I think here it would have been good to pick up earlier than your urn, because it's more important on you than the Rubik, and he might just take it. But if it was a competitive environment, like a team, I think it's fine that you go the urn first.
Yeah.
So you made the right play, but not the correct one, if that makes sense.
Okay. Did you back to Shrine here? I want to know. Like just a second before.
Lol.
Okay.
She TP'd back, bought the tome, and then walked up. Alright. And here's just kind of like understanding that you're not really gonna kill her. Like this just doesn't work out, because all of your damage from this chick can just miss, and you only have level 2 battery assault, and they can just TP in and kill you, and they have 2 supports that are running around, so they're most likely gonna TP in. So it's kind of like the chances of it working are like 5%, where you even have a chance to get on top of her. And here you should buy the tome, because then what I'd be thinking right here is, and I'm sure you're like kind of tunnel visioned right now, trying to go for these kills, but I'd be looking at it like, I'm going to buy the tome, and I'm going to get my level 6 with these bounty runes, and then I'm about twice as strong. So let's wait a little bit, and then go from there. Feels bad.
That was close, I think.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Nothing too bad there.
Yeah.
The only thing is you didn't buy out your windlace. I like to, even if I don't plan on going Spirit Vessel before Ags, I like to get the windlace, just because it's like, why not? You're gonna build it into something eventually, so might as well pick it up early and use it. There you go. That was really good. You isolated them.
Yeah.
But for this, you should activate your battery assault right now before you hook, because you're not gonna get the full 10 seconds of this and it be useful, right? Like, if this all goes right, you kill him before, you kill him in like 5 seconds. So you want to activate it here, and then hook, and then do what you do with the cogs. Yeah. Imagine how much different that would have been if you used your battery assault before you hooked in.
Yeah, that was a fuck up. I remember that. Yeah.
Alright, yeah. If you know that's a thing you can do, then there's not too much to talk about. Oh, you're supposed to... throwing these blind hooks are just like you can just wait 1 second and use your flare. Where is he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Here, we can do slow motion.
Sure, let's do that. It wasn't cool.
No. But the spot you threw at was good because it covers the most.
Yeah, but like, why would he stop there? So
because he's trying to avoid a hook, dude. But yeah, you can just throw an urn on him right here, and he dies. And then you get your charges back immediately.
Did I see him?
Yeah, you had vision of him.
No, I don't think so. Wait. Might have just missed a second though.
Yeah, you had vision of him. You had enough time to throw an urn on him, but if that's just a mechanical thing, then that's all it is. You want the ring of regen first, and this is kind of like, if you hit him with your rocket, he dies, right? He has 0 health. So why are you throwing it here? You know that he's not in this area. If anything, I would have thrown it there and I would have missed, but he's a lot more likely to be in here than in this open field.
I thought he'd blink to Pudge and then go to the shrine. That's what my train of thought.
I guess you decided to do it before you had the vision and just went with it? And you want the Ring of Health more than the staff. The staff doesn't.
You with Tranquil and Earth?
Yeah. Because it's during combat. You can, like, if it takes 10 seconds for you to do a fight, that's like 80 health with your health regen. And it also can mean that, let's say you guys take a fight and you have 30 seconds until they respawn or you fight or whatever. You can get an extra like 300, 400 health and save your urn for a teammate instead. Whereas with Staff of Wizardry, it's kind of like, why not just bring a Ring of Health and a Clarity out, and it does more than a Staff of Wizardry. Like, a Clarity is more valuable than this in almost every situation.
Yeah. That was blind, by the way. I did not know what was there.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, whatever, my team's there. Let me just do it.
Here it's just like, I guess, yeah, this is fine. I thought the fight went a lot worse than it did, actually. Yeah. I thought your whole team was dying here. But yeah, with them all dying, dead, it's good. But yeah, now you have, this is what I was talking about. You have the Tranquils in the urn, but you used 2 charges on yourself. Whereas if you had the Ring of, the Ring of Health and the Clarity coming out on the courier, you could save one of the urns and then heal up with the Ring of Regen and then get your mana back.
Yeah.
Would you not agree that that's much better than the... Yeah.
For sure.
Costs 50 extra gold, but like... Oh, I guess you fly out at Clarity anyway, so it's...
Ooh, that hook.
Yeah, that was... I'm surprised that worked.
Yeah, after I hit the monkey, I was like, what? Okay. Works, it works.
I don't like either of these wards. Cause it's kind of like, how do I put it? I especially don't like this one in combination of this one, cause this is gonna,
in the area.
yeah, this is gonna catch 80% of the people that eventually run over here. I don't know how to explain that I don't like this.
No, I get it. It doesn't add anything to the other wards.
Well, it's like I kind of don't like either of them. I think part of it is...
But if you're planning to take the T2 bottom, why wouldn't you ward there?
Well, I think it's subconsciously this is just such a hard tower to defend for the enemy team that they're likely to just give it up.
Okay.
And you guys are probably going to be playing really aggressive here, so they're not going to be able to get to a place where this one's even helpful. Like,
So where would you ward right now?
Right now, I'm thinking we're really strong, and we're probably going to fall off in a bit. So, what I want to do is push out mid and top and go for Roshan. So, I would much rather see these 2 wards shifted to this spot and, like, here.
Okay.
Because, like, these are the parallel wards. But you want to be on the top half because Roshan's on the top half.
Okay.
And this tower's very hard for them to defend because of the choke point. So you're possibly just going to get this tower for free anyways.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah. But yeah, like this whole time you could have had a windlace. Going back to the spirit vessel point.
Yeah.
And you aren't using this enough.
Yeah, this is one of the problems I have when I'm playing roaming claw.
Yeah, you need to.
When I'm playing.
Yeah, you need to be.
This is one of the problems I have. Like whenever I'm playing a roaming hero, I'm like, okay, farming is the last thing on my mind. I go here just to maybe not make it so obvious that we're inside rush. That was the whole play here of me coming top and showing them the map.
Well, I think they're so weak that they can't defend it.
Yeah, it's just like a reflex thing. I do this every time
Yeah.
I'm playing someone who can't hit rush. It's just like something.
Okay, so what I think, what should be happening here, is the point of getting this at level 10 instead of 11 is because the last point in this is so much better for farming and pushing out lanes than the third point in it. So right after this fight is taken, like you should probably like flare. I would have flared like right here-ish, so you could get a little bit of the high ground vision. But with the next flare, I would be like, all right, we just took a really good team fight. I'm going to start pushing the other lanes. So like your next flare should go top. Like right here, and then another one like now, and then the creep wave would be dead. And then pushing over here, and all the meanwhile you would be defending the Roshan if they go on you.
Okay.
And that's just kind of like, it's so important to be able to split push, and that's why I really like this guy. When I get level 10, it's super hard for them to push us because I always keep the lanes flared. So they always have, if they're pushing all down one lane, they always have two lanes that they're going to have to deal with soon. Unless they have like a Tinker or a Prophet or some shit.
Okay.
And then when you get level 20, it's even more so. Like, they can't really push high ground unless they kill someone. Because your flare is just like a full nuke anywhere on the map. So combined with anyone else, it kills off a creep wave. Alright, so let's go back so I can actually watch this.
I don't think I played that fight good at all. I remember this one. Let's see.
So here, I would be,
I valued my life, I think, more than monkeys. I should have just hooked in the shaman.
you should have flared here, right now. Because you have vision of the Pudge if he goes this way. And then you have vision of if he goes this way. So the only way that you lose vision on him is if he goes into these trees. So that's my thought at this very moment. And then his team shows up. And then it's like even more so you want it to be in here.
Yeah, but right here, I should have some right here.
Let's see.
I would have died, but I thought, why would I, like, this was wrong. I valued my life more than the monkeys.
Well, the
I
first...
I would die if I just took them here.
Yeah, the first thing is flaring so that you know the whole situation. And then... you should hook when he shackles. So, like, right now would have been better. Because then it's, he uses the spell instead of... Like, if you hook him before he shackles, you have to stay on top of him the whole time, or he's gonna get a long shackle on someone.
Yeah.
But if you wait until he shackles, then... Like, if you, here. Let's watch it, let's watch it from, like, this perspective, because another thing is your perspective of this team fight was not good. Like, you were watching, like, here, and then you were watching, like, over here, where you should be, like, watching here.
Yeah.
So you lost a lot of information. So I would be, like, right now, I would try to hook this guy. And then your Monkey King can maybe walk out of the hook in time. So you would have definitely wasted one spell and possibly two.
Yeah, that was a misplay. Yeah, I mean, we're so strong right now that our mistakes don't cost much, but that should have been a wipe for us, I think.
Yeah, this is going back to what I said. It's not that you play much better or worse. It's just your mistakes aren't punished.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, with that, if this game was a loss and that same situation happened, you would have been punished. So it would have been more clear for you to see, like the consequences of your actions, I guess. And yeah, like, again, you could have had a win lace for the past 10 minutes. And it's going to be like your next item, probably. Arcane Rune is super good for you to push shit out. Here, again, I think you canceled it, but this is kind of like when you're trying to go on a Shadow Shaman, you want to battery assault first. I think do you press it here? Yeah, you pressed it late.
Should have pressed it as well.
Yeah. That's just kind of like, lol. When you're going into a hero that has a channel disable, like an Enigma, a Pudge, a Bane, a Shadow Shaman, you want to make sure your battery assault, like more than anything, your battery assault is going before you get on top of them. Or if you hook them and have long enough to start your battery assault. Because, like, the only reason you can even go on that guy is because you're guaranteed not to have a full shackles on you. Here I would have hooked this guy.
Yeah, because I saw the bunch of...
Yeah, you saw the hook, so there's nothing that's going to save him. So I would have done the...
He has a pike, though, I think.
Huh?
He has a pike, though, I think.
So?
Very good pike. I mean, he just forced us out.
Well, if you, if you hook him, here. If you hook him here, or, like, you should have done it here-ish. And then you could have forced him out and then hit him with the cogs. And then even if he pikes, he's going to pike back into the cogs. And
Next level shit, yeah.
Yeah. But that's... if I can point it out here and then you know it's an option, then maybe you'll start... looking for it in your games, and then maybe you just get a fucking game-winning play.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be worth it, but I don't think that has to be worth it when we're on the high ground.
I got you.
It was value.
And here I would have hooked the Shadow Shaman, cogs, and got out. Right here. Because he's dead to, like, a raise and a right click. And if you just force staff yourself out, what are they going to do to punish you for it? And then you kill him and you basically... You make it a 4v5 for an additional, like, 30 or 40 seconds. And that's... Maybe you also get top racks because they only have Pudge and LC Duel as disables now.
Yeah, I forced that.
Yeah, you're trying to do that cheeky next level shit. I love doing that shit, but it never works. Well, it works like 20% of the time for me.
It works in my bracket. Just put a ward there and just wait for someone to come be warded. Like, hello.
No, I hate these. You can't do these types of hooks. Mainly because your cooldown's so fucking long. Maybe if you had an Ags, I wouldn't hate this. And again, it's do you get you get your battery assault off, so it's not too bad. But yeah, if you killed that Shadow Shaman, you didn't even get the first Rax. But if you got that Shadow Shaman kill, you would have definitely got this. Would you agree?
Probably, yeah.
And then the game's pretty fucking easy from there. You just wait for Roche. And you flare out top when you guys leave, so they have both mid and top pushed out. But yeah, I think this replay is pretty much spent. Because most of the key things already happened. We're about an hour in, but okay. I think we should do one of my replays maybe to finish this off. Okay. Here, I had a really good one recently. Yeah, we're doing this one. This was a shit stomp against this guy is one of my buddies. So there's gonna be a good bit of BMing going on, but and it's only 20 minutes, so we can.
Right now?
I think it's like 6.1 and a half, 6.2, something like that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Can't seem to climb anymore.
Well, we pointed out some pretty key mistakes. Hopefully some of them were ones that you didn't already know.
Yeah.
Like the win lace, just picking that up can be like an extra like 1% win rate, just because you like maybe get a kill or two extra.
Yeah.
And then the spirit vessel instead of the ags is another key one. Because there weren't really like nobody was getting like super healed that game that you need to stop that. Like if they had a Huskar, sure, fucking even skip the Force Staff and just go straight for the spirit vessel.
Don't you go Gogs here? Against like the spin and
I'm not too worried about
the burst, right? Whatever.
No.
Okay.
Because I know that I'm not going to do anything bottom, and Cogs is just going to make me useless if I go anywhere else.
No.
So I at least get some good damage on here. And we get the kill.
Okay. Actually, okay.
I should have been using my quick buy. I'm flaming my buddy.
It's fine.
And I understand the only way that I'm going to kill this guy is if he fucks up, or if when he jumps, I'm there to like catch him with like battery assault and cogs. So all I can really do is try and get some harassing. He does it, so we back.
It's an annoying fucking spell.
Yeah.
It's the same as Void, but I don't know why it's more annoying than Void's time.
It's because it also hits you. Here I fucked up.
Void's also like backtracks or whatever.
This I should have ran him down until I thought the chilling touch slow would have been more. But if I waited like 2 more battery assault ticks, I probably would have killed him.
No.
I thought that slow.
What do you value more as? Ah, never mind. Like I was just about to say, like level 1 battery assault. This is your right click. This is a ward here, right?
Well, the right click had chilling touch, so I tried to value it more there. The thing with battery assault is one battery assault means another battery assault means another battery assault, but right clicks don't do that. So it kind of depends on their movement speed, and this guy is pretty. Did he have boots? Yeah, he's pretty fast. So it's kind of like, if I stay on him with battery assault, I'm gonna stay on him with battery assault because I'm quicker. But if I right click him, yeah, he's gonna get away. It's the same with Pudge and Rot.
They had a ward there, right? Or does it just see you random? I don't
yeah, I ping it out here.
Okay. Just trying to check my mechanics. You can even swishbuckle or whatever you call it, swashbuckle out of the cogs.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
He can jump over him too, with his spell
Sure
shield.
he gets pushed back though, for sure.
Yeah, he does, but he still gets out of it. I was surprised that even killed. So this is just kind of like, I can't really do too much against the Pangolier, but I'm doing what I can. I fucked up my cogs.
The intent was right though,
yeah. But it's kind of like, I can't really do too much against the puck either, at least not yet. And then this is good, because we can just chase him down. I think, yeah, he fucks up here and we kill him. But now it's kind of like he's going to take a little bit to respawn. I don't really think I can do too much to the puck, but I might as well run there. Because I have like 10 seconds before he's like even back. So I head over here. Don't do anything. I think I go bottom here for the bounty runes. Another feels bad.
I mean, he had the burst right now.
And then, what happened here?
He used the orb.
Yeah, I saw he used orb, so I was like, alright, this guy's fucking retarded, I can kill him. And the only reason I went here even was because of it. And then here's a little thing that you might not be doing, is, if I deny my own cogs, the puck is a lot more likely to walk out and get hit by it. So, and I'd rather have him get hit by the cogs at the very end of it than one more of my right clicks. So it's kind of like a little debate. The only reason I stayed here was because I wanted to kill him. Because he's one of my friends. Do you have any questions so far?
No,
I'm trying to point out any things that I think are critical. Yeah, I was on cooldown.
Alright, that's for sure.
See?
Oh, there you go, yeah. Yeah. What's the... I don't know if you know, but what's the... Like, how far can you stand? Is that when you rocket, the creeps aggro you? Or the...
I think it's... I want to say it's either 1600 or 2400.
What?
It's one of those two. So, it's, the way that I learned it was, I think it's Cuddle Blast. But I think if you're, like, right here, and you rocket flare this, it'll pull it. But I'd be skeptical of, I think this is kind of like the limit. I don't see this working, which is like, this is like 1600, I think, and this is like 2400.
Okay.
So yeah, I just...
Okay, that's way more than I thought,
yeah. And then this puck play was actually, I was impressed by this.
I think you break it earlier and you got there.
Yeah, I just didn't expect him to do that. And yeah, this is, I looked at the tome. I wanted to try and get my level 6 with it, and I got kind of close.
You need 5 1/4, right? I think.
Yeah, it's like about this much.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Oh, you tried to debate.
Yeah.
And do you get the raindrop early and then you save the last charge for the urn?
Yeah. If I like...
You don't fuck it up.
Yeah. There's actually an example of that in this. fucking calculated.
Sure.
I'm really good at math.
That's like his applause.
And this is, if I caught him here with the cogs, he probably would have died.
You wanted to wait for Orban and come back?
Yeah. And it almost connects. Like, I think it's like 0.05 seconds. And then like here, I should be throwing my raindrop in my backpack.
Yeah. Wait, is that not much?
It's not enough damage. It has to be 50 damage in one instance.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, pick up the windlace, even though I don't really have a compelling reason to get the spirit vessel.
Does it stack?
Yeah, with what, tranquils?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything
But
stacks.
It won't stack if you have like 2 windlaces.
Yeah, everything that builds out of windlace stacks with everything. So you can have one of all of these items and a windlace, and you get the movement speed for all of them. But if you have 2 of any of them, they don't.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll 405, 425.
Where do you think of drum?
On Clockwerk, you mean?
Yeah, you have the farm for it, but it's gonna be very late drum.
I don't like it. I've never built it.
Just tank up and you can just get more movement speed and just run at people.
I mean, it might be good for an offlaner. And here I understand that there's no way I killed a Pangolier.
Yeah.
And the Jakiro is my friend, so I, of course, have to go on him. I try to isolate. I try to isolate him, but it doesn't work.
Was it up with them?
Probably.
So you never get the spirit vessel before the 4-step.
I do if it's a game that needs it, like if they have a Huskar.
That's in Bristle.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I'll do that with any position 4, really. I think Urn is one of the best position 4 items in the game right now.
Yeah, mana regen and sustain.
Yeah. All that I usually have to do to explain how good it is look at the mana regen from this and the gold cost, and then the mana regen from this and the gold cost. So,
yeah.
For 25 more gold, you're getting all of Urn. And they didn't nerf the flat mana regen, and they gave you, the heal also scales with strength now.
Yeah.
And there's an upgrade for it, and that upgrade allows you to get a casual windlace. So it's just so fucking good right now.
Yeah.
And another reason that I really like it is because a lot of the position 4s don't really have push potential. The only one that like kind of does is, he's not even really a position 4, but it's like Jakiro.
Yeah.
He's like a 4.5. But all the other ones kind of like, they go in, everyone gets low, and then I don't have any power to push myself. But let's say we take a fight and we have Luna and she gets low. Me having an Urn throwing 2 of those on her means that she can push instead of go back to base. And me having this sub 1,000 gold item means that we get a tower instead of not getting anything from a fight.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Yeah, I think, did he? Yeah. So the game's pretty much over. I think we steamroll him here. I don't think there's too much else to point out.
Yeah.
I think we just get Roche and then push bottom. Yeah, so did you want to go over another one real quick? I have a few short ones.
It's up to you. Whatever you want.
Yeah, let's try and go through one real quick. Let me see if I have one that isn't a stomp. Or one that's... I don't remember this one. Does this guy... Oh, I think this Jug jungled. Lol. This is the one we just went through. What was this one? I think this guy jungled. Is this the one I just looked at? Yeah, okay.
Do you ever like coach in an unranked game?
I usually avoid it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one where I go Spirit Vessel because of this guy's heal and this guy's.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I think we should just call it here and leave it at 45 minutes or
Sure.
an hour and 15 minutes.
Sure.
So yeah, any final questions?
Nope. I think I'm just gonna play one more game and just call it a night.
All right. So yeah, Tranquils and Urn, whatever order. Sometimes a wand, depending on the game. Usually, if the game's going a little bit harder, you want to pick up a wand. And then almost always Force Staff and then Ags. But when you have, like, I think this guy was doing, no, he wasn't doing too well. But if they have somebody on the enemy team that gets shit on by Spirit Vessel, it's kind of like, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then from there, usually games end before that, before you finish your Ags. You can go for your next item, but if they have a ton of AoE, you can go Blade Mail. If they have a lot of right clicks and they're not focusing you, you can go Shivas. But yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, I'll try to get this on YouTube before you finish your game.
Okay, that's cool.
Alright. So yeah. No final questions or anything?
No, I'm good, man.
Alright. So what I'd like to have you do is watch the replay of the lesson, at least part of it. Get some games in, and then we can do another coaching session from then. But I'm going to be gone for about a week after the 8th. So it either has to be before or possibly after the 15th.